Itadori versus Megumi, who would win? The way I'll be styling this video is first their abilities, then I'll be giving an avenue for Megumi to winning, then an avenue for Itadori to win, and then my personal opinion on who would win. So let's begin with Itadori and his abilities. So firstly, in my opinion, he's a Diet Coke, Toji, and Maki. His physical abilities is one of the highest that we've seen in the series, and his physical strength overpowers someone such as a physical prodigy such as Todo. Speed and reflexes are insanity. Reacted to Choso's blood manipulation on first impact, and with that being something that goes super quick, he was managed to react and not only dodge and managed to get to a position to counter attack. In the fight against Mahito, he managed to react to a 0.2 second domain expansion and was halfway in closing the gap to get close to prevent the domain expansion from Mahito. In the first fight against Hajime, we can indicate who Maki before Heavenly Restriction was a physically gifted individual, and Hajime said from their POV that Yuji was even faster than Maki back then. Was implied he can run at the speed of 60 kilometers per an hour, indicating he is as fast or faster than cars. He also has elite level durability and tanked multiple hits from his piercing blood. Choso also used numerous other moves such as Convergence, which Yuji managed to still tank out, and it indicates to why he has such great durability. Moreover, in the fight against Higuruma, he showed great durability in the fact that he could tank the hammer that was used when he had his curse energy taken away. And even in other fights such as the fight against Mahito, he tanked so many hits and even tanked a Black Flash from an amped up Mahito, and it highlights why he has one of the best durability that we have seen in the series. He's immune to poison due to having Sukuna, and as well as he has elite level stamina and physical capabilities, gives him the comparison of a Diet Coke, Toji / Maki. Him inhabiting the cursed object Sukuna, he has great curse energy, has begun to become more proficient with learning how to control his curse energy. He also has Divergent Fist. So after Yuji lands a punch on a target, his curse energy flows and makes a stronger second impact. After the fight against Mahito, he is now willingly being able to use it when he wants. It gives him a different edge in combat even though it comes from a flaw in his curse energy. He uses one of the high level techniques in Black Flash, which is a technique that creates a spatial distortion when a user connects with impact of curse energy. One thing to know is that it does a 2.5 to the power of his normal hit, not times but to the power, indicating that it does a significant amount of damage. And for scale, 5 Black Flashes from Yuji in Shibuya was seen to kill somebody such as Jogo. Yuji also has elite hand-to-hand combat and has one of the strongest martial arts that we've seen in the series. Now Megumi and his abilities. So Megumi has the 10 shadows techniques and it allows him to grant different Shikigamis to use in his offense. He also has great curse energy and his curse energy reserve seems to be quite high, with him being able to summon multiple Shikigami and activate a domain expansion. He has access to Chimero's Shadow Guardian, which is a barrier technique, which is an incomplete domain which allows him to hide in the shadows, summon multiple Shikigamis, and even create doubles of himself. He can hide from the blind spot from his enemies. Moreover, people who are in the domain will sink beneath the shadows, and it gives him a level of versatility, specifically when he has it in an enclosed space. On using his domain, he also gets an amp to his stats. He gets a 120% buff to his total stats and becomes a far stronger fighter who was at the back foot against Reggie, who then overpowered him over the use of his domain. There was periods of the hand-to-hand combat where Megumi was getting overpowered, but after using his domain, he had the upper hand and switched the reversal of the fight, giving him a level of utility that many Jujutsu sorcerers will not have. For this fight, I will not be obviously including Sukuna, and I will not be including Muhuraga because those are no win conditions. And now we'll begin with Megumi's ideal win scenario. So Megumi, in my opinion, as I've stated, is physically worse than Itadori. And in terms of durability, he does not have the durability from what we've seen to be able to tank a Black Flash. In my opinion, the way in which he has to win is to separate the distance and use elite level versatility to get away from Itadori. So let's have a look at the multiple things which will give Megumi the best things to win. So first let's talk about 10 Shadows technique. He has Divine Dogs, and if he uses Divine Dogs in a 2v1, there is a good argument would Itadori be able to tank them. We know that Divine Dogs are strong enough to destroy Hanami, so in terms of damage output, it should be enough to wound Itadori to a high scale and could potentially be a bad matchup for Yuji. He also has the ability of something such as Max Elephant, which can also release a large amount of water and can cover a large distance. However, in my opinion, I don't believe Itadori will have any trouble with dodging it, similarly shown with somebody such as Reggie dodging it from before. And even though he has things such as Rabbit Escape and things, I believe his own physical stats Itadori will be far beyond. However, why do I think potentially Megumi can win? And I think this leads to his obviously trump card in his domain expansion. If we're in a situation where in a closed barrier, so then he will now have the effect of a barrier technique. It will be in a situation where Itadori does not have that many ways to deal with him. Moreover, with the fact that he can summon multiple Shinigamis in an enclosed space, it would be very difficult for Yuji to escape the domain because now the barrier technique has basically been activated, and moreover counteract all these different Shinigami. I think it would get to a point where he would overwhelm him, and even though Yuji's durability is elite, how would he defeat somebody who is sending multiple things at him at once? In addition, upon the activation of his domain, he will have the 120% buff to his stats. Even though I don't believe he'll be physically as strong as Yuji, he will at least be able to make up for the deficiencies, and it won't be in a situation where he gets one shot by black flashes. It means the hand-to-hand combat that even though Yuji is far beyond in terms of strength, he'll be able to make up the deficiencies, and in pair with his high intellect, he'll be able to maneuver Yuji into a situation which will be best for Megumi. Megumi has shown multiple different occasions, specifically in the Reggie fight, when he has been in that back foot and used his IQ to be able to put him in a better situation. And just with his high IQ, especially in combat, he'll be able to make up the physical deficiencies from Yuji. And this is why I think there is an avenue for people who have obviously shown in the poll who believe that Megumi can win. However, let me go to why, and in my personal opinion, why Itadori is win, and I think he's become super underrated. Like I said, with the fact that he's a Diet Coke Toji / Maki, I believe he can blitz Megumi, and there is nothing indicating right now for me to disagree. Moreover, let's look at some of his martial art combats and look at things such as the fight against Higuruma. He easily made up the deficiency of having his curse energy taken away and relied solely on physical stats to contend with Higuruma. Higuruma himself even stated that the average sorcerer, they would not be able to contend with having their curse energy taken away. Highlights how much of a superhuman that Yuji is. Moreover, this is a stage of even if you think Megumi has the versatility to keep him away, it only takes one black flash for Megumi to die, and for my opinion for him to at least shatter the majority of his ribs. Even though Megumi has seemed to be quite durable in being able to hold trucks and cars, for example in his domain expansion in the fight against Reggie, he hasn't been against such a physically demanding monster such as Yuji. And I think Yuji has become slept on because of the fact that he only faces curses. So people trying to use stuff as Nue, which he can use to fly away. You have to remember, go back to things such as Shibuya, where he uses the rock to embed with curse energy and to flick it at the flying person to knock him down. These are similar things where he can use different parts of the environment with his curse energy to knock Megumi down, and to know some of the things such as his rabbit escape and Nue to be able to fly away. I believe just the huge difference in physical stats for the whole fight, unless Megumi, which we haven't seen in Jujutsu Kaisen, to use his domain expansion straight away, how can he guard against the physical one-to-one combat against Yuji? He can use his Shinigami, and Yuji has seemed to be stronger than all of his Shinigami, bar obviously Mukuraga. Even though Divine Dog totality is a big problem, like I said, 1 or 2 black flashes to either and the matchup is done because Megumi does not have the durability to survive this. Now, to Megumi's credit, he has elite level IQ, and I don't believe he would just allow Yuji to get to a situation where he could just blitz him. However, this is a 1v1. And like I said, all of his Shinigami are pretty much void against Yuji, bar Demon Dog totality. However, what we see from Demon Dog Totality, even though it's best used when he uses it as a way to hide behind the opponents, because if it's used in direct conflict, we can see that Yuji more than enough AP to deal with such things. Moreover, the best way in which Megumi wins is activating his domain expansion, and even if he activates his domain expansion in a non-enclosed place, it gives him, yes, the advantage to be able to hide in the shadows, but Yuji can also just get away from the said area. With the fact that there is no barrier technique, there's only a certain area that would be voided with the shadows, meaning his big triumph would be able to kind of catch Yuji in the shadows and for him to slowly sink in. Won't be able to happen because he can just run away and he has the speed to get out of it in time. Moreover, can we even say that he can react fast enough to defeat Megumi before the whole activation of his domain expansion? Let's look at the fight against somebody such as Mahito. Before Mahito tried to do it, he tried to blitz him, and if it wasn't for a 0.2 activation, he could have got to him quick enough. And we know Megumi does not have that level of activation, meaning I just don't see any way in which Megumi will be able to use his domain expansion in time to kill Yuji. And even if he uses domain expansion, unless it's in an enclosed space, I don't think the effect of Chimera's Shadow Garden will be impactful enough to stop Yuji, who in my opinion is so physically far ahead that he can make up for the deficiencies of the hacks that Megumi has. And this will nicely conclude on my thoughts on this situation. In my opinion, Yuji wins 55 to 45 times, maybe 60 to 40, because I think the main win condition for Megumi is having an enclosed barrier. Without the enclosed barrier, I don't think the things with his Shikigami is enough to kill him, nor do I think he has enough damage to actually put down Yuji. Yuji has taken so much damage in Shibuya. Yuji has seemed to be so far durable that bar Demon Dog Totality, I believe he has more than enough to survive against Megumi. And even with the 127 buff, Yuji was throwing cars back in Shibuya, and don't think that 120% buff is going to do anything to change the state in terms of the hand-to-hand combat. Moreover, with the fact that Chimera's Shadow Garden is incomplete, he doesn't have his short hit effect, meaning even in an enclosed space, he can potentially counteract some of those things. However, I think it becomes very, very difficult for Yuji. In conclusion, I think Yuji wins, and if you disagree, because obviously the polls were very in favor of Megumi, let me know your opinions down below and let me know why you have Megumi winning. But make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.